When my wife passed away a few years ago, the undertaker came around to make arrangements for the funeral, as they do. And as we were having a chat over a cup of tea, he starts telling me about how I'm going to feel over the coming months. You know, what's going to happen to me, what my thought process is. You know, in 3 months' time I'll be this, and 6 months' time I'll be, this. And I always thought it was a little bit weird. How does he know, how I'm going to act, after, losing my wife? Anyway, I can tell you that everything he said didn't happen. And also around about the time as well, when people find out that you lost somebody, they tend to tell you how you're going to feel. And once again, I thought that was a bit weird, I mean, I was out, I'd be out in a pub or something, and somebody would say to me, "Oh yes, you're feeling this now and you're feeling that now, aren't you?" And I get it. They're kind of just using their own personal experience to, try and help me. So I'm not criticizing anybody that gives me advice. However, none of it came true. And it made me realize, when you grieve for somebody, every person's experience is different. And it was even different to what I expected myself. I thought, I don't know if it's the right analogy. It's a bit like splitting up with a partner, in first few months you're going to be missing them, and a few months later you'll stop missing them so much, and then within a year you've forgotten about them. And I kind of assumed that will be the same with me, with my wife. I didn't think I'd ever forget about her completely, but I thought the healing process would be every day that goes by, you feel better. But you don't. Well, I didn't anyway. It was 3 years ago when my wife passed away, and I still feel like it was last week. I would say I'm not thinking about her 24/7 like I was before. I mean, when she first went, I'd be waking up in the middle of the night thinking about her, and as soon as I wake up in the morning thinking about her, and I think about it all day, and it's very difficult to function when you're thinking about things like that all the time. I had a job to go to, and I had my family to look after. So whatever people tell you, it's highly likely that your experience is going to be different. And over the last few years now, since doing all this content, I've met quite a lot of people that have unfortunately lost, people who were close to them. And I speak to these people, and they tell me their story, and they tell me what they're going through. And something else I've noticed, that everybody I speak to has had a different experience to me. It's bizarre. I don't think I've ever come across anyone I thought, you know what, I was actually like that. I mean, we all have a common empathy, I guess, where we've all lost somebody, so we have that sort of common area. But then everyone seems to handle it differently. Some people, they get more emotional. Other people, like myself, I guess, tend to keep my emotions to myself. For me personally, I find they're quite a private thing, and that's fine. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you grieve, it's okay that you're not grieving like people expect you to. You don't have to act in a particular way. You don't have to cry. You don't have to keep your emotions to yourself. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. Just do whatever feels comfortable to you, and you'll get through it. And I know that's a difficult thing to hear. If somebody says to you, "Don't worry, you're going to get through it," I don't even think "get through it's the right term, to be honest. I think you learn to live with it. I still miss my wife. I miss her dearly. I talk to her all the time. But it's almost like her death has become part of my life now, and I don't think that will ever go. I think it'll be there forever. It's only been a few years with me. I've spoken to people, that follow me on social media, they've lost people 20 years ago and they're still grieving, you know, they're still on their journey. So it's going to be there forever, I think. So what I'm trying to say is, when you grieve, you don't know how you're going to act. You don't know how you're going to feel. But what I can guarantee is it's probably going to be different to what people tell you. And that's absolutely fine. However you deal with it in your own way is part of your grief journey, which we all have to go on, unfortunately. So don't be too hard on yourself if somebody is expecting you to act in a certain way and you feel like you have to act like that. You don't. You act however it feels comfortable for you. I hope that helps.